Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and lend me your ears. Tonight I bring you a tale of two bards, a story of friendship and adventure that will leave you spellbound. Tonight I shall regale you with the tale of my next meeting with none other than Dandelion, the famous bard from the land of the continent. As some of you may know, Dandelion and I go way back. We've shared the stage many times, weaving our musical magic to entertain audiences across the land. And now, after many months apart, we are set to meet again and share our latest stories and songs. But this is not just any ordinary meeting, my friends. For Dandelion has promised to share with me his latest adventures, tales of his exploits and escapades that will leave you breathless with excitement. And as we sit together, swapping stories and strumming our lutes, we shall transport you to a world of wonder and adventure. But first, a few short and quick messages from our sponsors. If you want to support us, please give us a like, share, and perhaps subscribe to our channel to help make us grow and bring you more stories like this. Here are the links below. Now, my friends, raise a glass, a tankard, or any other container that may hold alcoholic fluids, and let us celebrate the power of friendship and the magic of music. For tonight we shall take you on a journey you will never forget, with Dandelion and myself leading the way. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Wait a minute, that sounds wrong. Let's try again. Once upon a time, there was a man named Geralt the Witcher. Now, Geralt was known far and wide for his ability to take down even the toughest of monsters. But there was one particular creature that had always given him trouble. A Striga. Ah, the Striga. A creature so terrifying that it could give you nightmares for weeks. But let me tell you, there's more to this monster than just sharp claws and a thirst for blood. Picture this. The Striga is like a toddler on a sugar rush. Except instead of candy, it's got a hankering for human flesh. It's all flailing limbs and high-pitched shrieks as it chases after its prey. And once it catches you, well, let's just say it's like a toddler trying to open a jar of pickles. It'll gnaw and gnash with all its might, but it just can't quite get the job done. But don't be fooled by its clumsy antics. This is a monster that means business, and it's got a few tricks up its sleeve. For example, it can transform into a giant bat, which is pretty impressive for a creature that can barely walk in a straight line. And if that's not enough to scare you, just remember that Strigas are notoriously bad at sharing. If you get in the way of its dinner, you'll be lucky to escape with all your limbs intact. Now, this particular Striga that Geralt is hunting is different. Legend has it that this Striga was once a princess who was cursed and turned into a monster. She spent her days locked up in a castle, but every night she would transform into a terrifying creature and wreak havoc on the land. Well, one day, Geralt was hired by a local noble to track down the Striga. At first, Geralt tried all his usual tricks, but nothing seemed to work. The Striga was just too strong. So, Geralt came up with a new plan. He decided to challenge the Striga to a game of chess. Now, the Striga was no slouch when it came to intellect, so Geralt had to really bring his A game. But in the end, Geralt emerged victorious. The Striga was so impressed by his cunning and intelligence that she agreed to give up her monstrous ways and live out the rest of her days as a peaceful princess once again. And that, my friends, is how Geralt the Witcher defeated the Striga with nothing but his wits and a good game of chess. Who knew that all of it took to defeat a monster was a little strategy and a lot of luck, huh? But little did Geralt know, the Striga had a trick up her sleeve. She challenged Geralt to a rematch, this time in a game of Scrabble. Geralt, being the cunning witcher that he was, agreed to the challenge. The two battled it out, placing letters and forming words until finally Geralt placed down his last tile, spelling out the word victory and winning the game. The Striga, defeated once again, begrudgingly accepted her fate and returned to her human form. Geralt, feeling a bit sorry for her, decided to take her out for a night at the town. He hit up all the local taverns and drank the night away, swapping stories of their battles and adventures.
A few moments later.
The next morning, as Geralt was nursing a hangover and wondering how he was going to explain this all to his employer, he realized something. He had forgotten to take the Striga back to her castle before the curse returned. Frantically, Geralt rushed back to the Striga's castle, only to find that the curse had indeed returned. But instead of transforming into a monster, the Striga had transformed into something far worse. A terrible, off-key singer. Geralt quickly made his escape, promising himself that he would never again underestimate the power of a cursed princess with a love of board games. And so, the legend of Geralt the Witcher and the Striga with a terrible singing voice and who loved playing board games lived on for generations to come. As the night draws to a close and the candles flicker low, I must bid you all farewell. But fear not, my friends, for I leave you with a promise of more tales and tunes to come. For you see, my next stories containing our previous meeting with Dandelion is just around the corner, and I can hardly contain my excitement. But I will hold off those stories for now. But one thing is for sure, the power of music and friendship will be stronger than ever, and as we raise our voices and our instruments in harmony, we will create a moment in time that will stay with us forever. As cheesy as that might sound. So until we meet again, my friends, keep the music in your hearts and the stories on your lips, for as long as we can share our tales and tunes, we will never be alone. Farewell, and may the road ahead be filled with adventure and wonder. Again, I am your host, Mordecai, also known as the Solemn Bard. Good night, and goodbye.